Thank you. Okay, so people will join as we go. Again, we've been training at the office all day. We had a fantastic event last night. I know Tim was here, Rose was here. I'm looking through the screen to see who all was here. I have half of them still in another room because I kidnapped them and told them that they had to stay and they couldn't leave. Um, we're not going to record on your computer, but I am live streaming to YouTube. So I'm going to decline this request, but I will send out the live stream meeting later unless there's another reason for me to do so. Let me put that in our chat. So we have it's at HGI. Oh, just kidding. Hold on. At HGI team. Legacy is our YouTube channel. So you guys can go and follow it. You can subscribe to it and make sure that you've got all of your information there. And again, this is being live streamed already. So instead of you recording it on your computer, you can go and follow it and you can watch it from there. All right. Well, without any further ado, I'm going to let Tim get started first and kind of give us the world in a few minutes. We call it Tim's Talks for our WhatsApp group with him, and it's fantastic to be able to listen to him every week, but also to see his daily commentary on the market. And Tim, I guess you left before the actual event last night, but again, it was amazing. It was fantastic. And you were here before, you were here kind of at the Mozone moment. So you saw how many people were here. It was great. It was standing room only. We had to bring chairs in three different times. We probably had 65 or 75 people here on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, which to me says a lot. So I think it was a great event and everybody really enjoyed it and loved it. But Tim, talk to us.
Actually, I stayed around,
Oh,
Kimberly. I stayed around for a while and watched, listened, and I was quite impressed. I saw Rose. Rose, it's good to see you. Gave Rose a
she,
hug.
yeah. Oh,
I don't get to see
everybody
Rose
saw.
all the time. I saw a number of other people there, which was a lot of fun. Boy, I got a lot to talk about. We got a small group, but Mauricio, it's good to see you. Yeah, so You know, a lot of this is going to, I'm going to talk about things that are going on from my perspective of reading a lot of different perspectives and also kind of not from a political perspective, mainly from a financial perspective. I want everybody to kind of grasp, you know, how this affects the markets, investments, what we do, how important this is for the world economy as well as because understand that our economy now is so integrated into the world. I don't care what any president says, including the current president, about putting America first. We're all tied together on a world basis now. We're so integrated. There's no way we can untangle ourselves from the economy of all these other countries. But so this I call it an unprovoked attack on Iran, was the rationale they're telling us was because they didn't want them to have nuclear capabilities. Um, and they felt like, the negotiations were breaking down. So they took an aggressive stance and went in and tried to destroy their capabilities for using missiles to, basically and destroy their nuclear facilities. So this is going on. This is the fourth week now, and they still have retaliatory capabilities. And one of the things that I think has not been said, which again, if you've heard me talk about this, I lived in the Middle East and I've spent a lot of time over there. I've traveled through all of these countries that are um, in the conversation right now: Kuwait, UAE, Al Khobar, in Saudi Arabia. I lived in Saudi Arabia actually for over 3 years, 3.5, and also in that Bahrain area. So I've lived in right there in the Gulf, and one of the things that we don't realize is that you know, they all don't get along with each other, right? I mean, there's a lot of angst there between each other. Religious wise, as I said before, there's a lot of different sects in the Muslim religion. And so in those different religions, there's a lot of angst and kind of things going on there that there's not a lot of agreement. So when we attacked and we took out a lot of their missiles, they still have quite a bit. But the other thing that I wanted to mention is that Russia and China are also helping Iran behind the scenes, much like we did with Ukraine. I mean, think about it. Our interests were to keep Ukraine funded, and not only monetarily, but with arms and missiles and things like that. And that's what's happening that they're not telling us about. So when they say, we've taken out 95% of all their missiles, well, that's not entirely true because they're getting new armament through China and Russia. Russia is easy because they can just transport it right across the border. So I think America in our wisdom now is coming to the point where we're realizing that we cannot take them out through missiles. We can't change that regime, that um, just through air superiority and attacks, and we can destroy their factories that build these missiles and their nuclear power kind of strategy to build nuclear weapons of destruction, but we can slow them down maybe for 5 years, 10 years, something like that. But as far as taking out that regime through the without boots on the ground, as we call it, it's not going to happen. They're pretty well entrenched there for almost 50 years. So I just see that as continuing. Now, let me just jump over for a second and talk about the economy real quick. The PPI came out. Maybe you read about that in my comments the other day. Is It rose 0.7% in February, which it was expected to be 0.3. So inflation, even before oil prices start climbing up due to the Strait of Hormuz being shut down, which is roughly 20% of the oil of the world that goes through there, um, happened. We're starting to see some of the effect of inflation come through in different areas. So there's this angst that's going on in the Federal Reserve because you have some people on the board, on the committee sitting there saying, "Hey, we got to reduce rates," but others are saying, "Look, we got to follow our directive of if inflation's going up, if anything, we got to raise rates." So you've got a couple people on the outliers of the bell curve saying we got to raise rates. You got the hawkish ones who are saying, we can't do that, and then you have the middle people that are saying, let's just sit on our hands. So I think you've got this huge debate going on right now in the economy of what to do. And the markets, when this happens, they were at one point, if you remember last year, I made a comment that they thought there were going to be 3 to 5 rate cuts this year. Then they went to 2. Now they're talking about zippo. So if there are no rate cuts, that's not going to help the market. Now, can the market still do good? Sure, absolutely it could. Analysts right now, this is something I read last night, that corporate earnings, remember one thing is what drives the markets ultimately. This is all fluff that's going on right now, by the way. What's affecting the markets and the correction that we've seen is all due to geopolitical events, which always happens. These kind of things. This is why we don't get all upset about this. We don't get worried. This isn't a recession. This isn't triggering a recession yet. Potentially it could. Potentially it could. Because if oil prices stay up for a while in these elevated ranges like this, it's going to drive the cost up, as I've mentioned last night, like fertilizer. Right now we're in growing season, so they can't get fertilizers out across, I mean, the bulk of fertilizers out through the the Strait of Hormuz into certain areas. There's still fertilizers available in different parts of the world, but not the bulk amount of it. So transportation costs, diesel fuel for truckers throughout the world has gone sky high. It's gone from, so I've got a diesel car. Kimberly, you have one too. I think I filled up for,
We have two. It's horrible.
yeah, you filled up for 365 a month ago, and now it's 520. I mean, that's huge. So, truckers are paying this. So transportation costs and all this material that's coming to the stores hasn't even hit the data points yet, like the PPI. So when we get these new numbers over the next few months, I think you're going to see inflation numbers come in a little hotter. Food was up 2.4%. Energy was up 2.3% in these PPI numbers. Vegetables was up, I said, close to 50%, fresh vegetables. So it's going to be up again. It's going to be elevated, is my point. So I think what's happening right now is there's no trend in the market. We were definitely in a bull market and have been in a bull market for a long, long time. So right now we're going through a trendless time. Everything is going sideways, and 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 nothing really is going. I would say nothing right now is going dramatically down either, which is good news. That nobody is freaking out, right? That's the good news. Gold is in a bear market. And the reason, if you've seen my comments, I'll dive into this a little bit deeper. The reason gold is in a bear market is because of the strength of the US dollar. So as US Treasury bonds, the interest rates go up because what they're forecasting is that the Fed is not going to lower rates. So because of the inflationary numbers coming recently off that PPI number, is that they're going to raise rates, if anything, or keep them steady. That's taken away the luster of gold as a safe haven. So gold and silver have been pretty much cut in half from their highs, as we've seen, and that could even go down further quite a bit. So you're having these cause and effect kind of situations happen in the market, and so the market is trendless right now. If anything, in somewhat of a more reactionary decline, but it's all going to come back to what earnings are, corporate earnings. Once all this war settles out one way or another, Iran came back. Also, let me comment on this because I just saw this in the news this morning. They came back with their demands. They said, we reject the U.S. offer for a ceasefire, and here are our demands. They went through their demands, which were interesting. They wanted a complete halt to aggression and assassinations. I found that interesting, assassinations. Establishment of a concrete mechanism to ensure that the war is not reimposed on the Islamic Republic, guaranteed and clearly defined payment for war damages, which, that's not going to happen. The conclusion of the war across all fronts and all resistance from groups involved throughout the whole region. So they want all of the, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, all the countries involved there to stop. And then Iran will exercise its sovereignty over. They're saying that they now have complete rights to control the Strait of Hormuz. Pretty strong demand. So I don't think that is going to get settled anytime soon, reading about that, knowing those people and what's going on there. So I see little chance right now of that getting worked out, in my opinion. Now, in the end, as I said, this is all going to come down to corporate earnings. This is what's going to drive the markets once we get this all settled out, which will happen at some point. If you read my comments last night, the thing that everybody is not talking about is they're sending these $25,000 drones with pretty powerful explosives at different refineries, oil wells, all over the Middle East. Iran is attacking all of these other countries. They're Gulf country partners, I would call them. And they're blowing up a lot of their facilities and a lot of their ability to pump oil. And you just don't go back in and turn on the spigot once this is all settled. So there's going to be this drag on the markets where they're not going to be able to turn on production and get that oil flowing back to where it was. So we're going to see elevated oil prices for some time. I think this could drag on through the remainder of 2026 with elevated oil prices. So Kimberly, we're going to have a hard time at the pump with diesel fuel, unfortunately.
I guess I
One,
should sell it.
yeah, well, no, I wouldn't sell it, but luckily you get better gas mileage on that
Yeah.
car. So what do you get? 30 miles a gallon, 35?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
About 33, I think.
yeah. So I think that's all going to, it's going to work itself out. In the end, I think somebody like Pakistan is going to probably have to come in and be the negotiator to some kind of a peace agreement between the two countries. You have a lot of egos here involved. I just don't see this being worked out anytime soon. And if you hear the rhetoric coming out of Trump's mouth and you hear the rhetoric coming out of whatever's left in Iran, I don't know who's running Iran anymore. And then you got the people, in the street that are revolting to some extent. I think, I just don't know what's going to happen over there. And so this is going to be an interesting year to see how this all sits out politically as far as geopolitical kind of events going on. But in the end, the S&P 500 could grow this year by anywhere from 9 to 12%, which would really enhance what we're doing for our clients. So let me circle this back around to what we're doing. The power of these products that we sell is that we're protecting people's downside. And especially right now, look at what we've done in protecting people from events like this. We've given them life insurance if anything happens during their life right now, protecting the wage earners as well as the family. We've given them protection on the downside. When this turns around, they immediately get protection on the upside, basically. Not, they're not going to participate percentage wise, dollar for dollar, but we protected the downside. And that's the lesson we've learned from big corrections is it takes sometimes 4 to 5 years to come back from the 08, 09 correction that we saw when we had a 56, I think, percent correction in the S&P 500. I mean, that right now we're there. If this market flips and goes back up, I mean, we're sitting here doing the greatest thing we could for our clients. And that's the story that we want to tell. That's why you got to get out there and start recruiting people right now. This is our moment in the sun. This is what we dream about when we're out recruiting. And people are nervous. And that's why we keep a positive spin here. This is why we're a recruiting organization. We're selling dreams. Sitting here, Kimberly, listen to Jody and you today, it's a constant reminder of how important our dreams are. That's something most people have given up on. So when you go out there, remember what you're doing and how important it is and what an inspiration it can be for people. So those are my comments for today. And unless anybody has any questions, I'm glad to.
Well, thank you, Tim. I appreciate that and always appreciate your insight. And, sometimes, especially right now, the world around us can seem really heavy because it is, right? With just everything going on and inundated with the news, whether it's, you actually physically sit down and watch the television news or it just gets, comes to you on your social media or whatever. We're all aware of what's happening around us. But we also have to remember we need to be aware. We need to understand what's going on, how it's affecting our world. But we also need to remember that we can only control our personal economy on a grand scale. And that's what we focus on here at HGI. That's what we talked about last night. You know, we had 70 plus people in a room again on a Tuesday night to learn how money works. And that's amazing because those people are taking their personal financial responsibility in their own hands. And so, you know, I love empowering people to dream first and foremost, whether it's my client or my teammate, because people don't do that anymore. You know, I really think you need to take a minute and, you know, go think about something crazy and then just do it. Or, you know, we used to go drive through the expensive neighborhoods, you know, go do it. Go get a sports car and drive it. If you can't, if they won't let you in a dealership, rent one on Turo for a minute, right? Just do it. Just do something that's exciting that makes you nervous and gives you a little bit of thrill because it reminds you that you are alive and you can dream and it is possible. And then we'll figure out our financial stuff. Just don't put your head in the sand, and we'll help you through it. But I think that's what it's all about. It's excitement. It's you know, moving forward. It's dreaming. It's growing. It's leadership. You know, we've got 15, 20 people in another room here at the home office today, brainwashing them a little longer. Um, and it's just, you know, we love what we do. So with that being said, I don't want to take up any more time. Brian Spiridonov is our guest today. He is with CalChoice. He is one of my favorite people. You guys know that I've introduced him to you before. He's been a product provider with us for a really long time. And, you know, I met him probably when I started in 2014. And he's just a great person. So we were talking about this. Matt from Corbridge is in the other room doing some final training for our meeting here in person today. And Zach was talking about this when he introduced Matt, and he said basically, you know, we have a lot of product providers and we've got a lot of things out there, but also a lot of the things that we recommend to our clients is because of our relationships with people like Brian, right? And Brian is fantastic. He's always going to answer the phone call for you. He's going to be there. He's going to help you. You know, your job in this example is just to refer it to Brian. You're not selling anything, right? And so he's going to come in as your partner and he's going to do all of the heavy lifting. And you can trust him to do it, which I think is what's amazing. So Brian, without further ado, I want to give you as much time as you can take to present the information, but then also answer questions at the end. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, and I love you too.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you for your support and giving me this platform today to speak to your team and everybody else that's out there watching this live on YouTube. I've never done a YouTube live, so anyway, we'll see how it goes.
it's
But
happening.
uh, what's that?
It's happening.
I know. Let me go ahead and share. Do I have here? I just sent you a share request. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. First of all, thank you all so very much. Being a part of HGI has been very good for our company. I had the privilege of meeting Hubert in 2008, before HGI was even, well, I don't know if it was a thought back then, but before it was HGI, I believe it was called the Pella Group. And so I went through the transition from the Pella Group to HGI and traveled all around the country from that period of time up until 2020. And then some things happened. I broke my neck. I had some things that prevented me from traveling. So I kind of put the brakes on CalChoice investments for me personally. But I came back in 2024 and we've had a ton of success with a lot of teams that see our product as something that's very valuable. It's a way to diversify retirement plans. And I think you're really going to like what we've put together today for you. At the very end, I'll have my contact information with a different QR code to schedule a call with me and your client. And so we can go through what it is that we do and how it works. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick things off. Why do we do this? Land banking is a way to protect and preserve wealth. All we're doing is acquiring real estate as a part of our retirement plan. It's true diversification. This is a time-tested opportunity. Real estate has provided value for centuries, and when it's done in the right place at the right time, it makes sense for clients to go down this path and add this to their current retirement plan. That, on top of purchasing below market value, makes this a safe, simple, and secure investment that makes a lot of sense for people once they're able to see it. So as Kimberly mentioned, being a referral partner with you guys, we do all the heavy lifting. All we ask is introduce at a 30,000-foot view. Did you know you can own real estate in your retirement plan? I've got some conversation starters that we'll go through, but very simple. Did you know you can own real estate in your retirement plan? No, I had no idea. Okay, great. Next step is we'll do a 20-minute, 30-minute Zoom so you can get all the information and see if this opportunity is right for you. It's truly that simple. And the other part of that qualifying on your guys' end is introduce and make sure that they have $50,000 or more in cash or qualified retirement funds. And we'll get into that here in just a moment. But here's the problem. Tim was mentioning it with what's going on in the market. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of uncertainty. 40% fear outliving their money in retirement. He talked about 2008 and 9 when the S&P dropped 56%. So 401ks became coined as 201ks, right? But here's the problem. So many people have all their money or all their eggs into one basket. And you guys provide multiple different options as far as managed money to insurances, annuities, and many other things. This is just an added component to help diversify those retirement plans because, as he mentioned that the market, takes 4 or 5 years to come back. I get it for sure. But when people lost half of their money in the market, it takes a long period of time to make up for what they lost. Yeah, the market started coming back quickly in about 3 or 4 or 5 years, but that downturn extended the timeline to retire. So how can we shorten that timeline to retire by adding an additional component to the retirement plan? Well, this is an example of what many retirement plans look like right now. You've got stocks, bonds, mutual funds that make up, and others, other opportunities or investments. And all we're doing is carving out a little piece of the pie to add real estate as a component. Because IRS code 408 allows us to acquire real estate inside of our retirement plan without any tax implications or penalties or tax consequences. We're just simply exchanging one stock for another stock. Land stock, the best investment on earth, they say is what? Earth. When it's done, right place, right time. So kind of take a mental snapshot of that and think about some people that your book of business, your clients. We all know people that have these types of retirement vehicles, from cash, of course, sitting on the sidelines, maybe not making more dollars. Well, we can put it to work. But traditional IRA, Roth, SEP, simple, 401k, 403b, the IRS allows us to add real estate. So we can buy real estate with those retirement vehicles, again, without any tax implications or penalties. And it works very, very well. We handle all of that. So when somebody decides to move forward with us, there's a reservation form that's filled out. Once you guys fill out that reservation form, which is a URL, super easy, drop down and fill-ins. It allows you to put your name, your code number, so it's all tied back to you. We handle the rest, from moving the money to the new custodian, if that's necessary, unqualified, to opening up escrow, natural hazard disclosures, title documents. We use a national title company, a national escrow company. This is a real estate transaction. We do it the right way for everybody's safety and security. But take a mental snapshot and start going through and doing memory joggers on your book of business on who's looking for an alternative investment. And here's what's really neat is we're able to own real estate, but we don't have to worry about any of the tenants, toilets, or trash. We don't have to worry about a tenant missing a payment. We don't have to worry about plumbing going out. We don't have to worry about a depreciating asset with a new roof or a water heater or any of these things that could possibly happen. We're able to own real estate and not have to deal with any of that other stuff. We're also able to own real estate with as little as $50,000. And we don't have to get a loan to make up the rest of the difference or make a mortgage payment. We're just simply reallocating, repositioning into something that is tangible. And everybody that buys with us receives a grant deed with title insurance on fee simple land. That deed's recorded with the county. I'm the owner of this property. I have title insurance to protect. And again, it's on fee simple land. So it works really, really well. How the process works. 50,000 or more in cash or qualified retirement funds allows somebody to move forward and purchase with us. The holding period, 7 to 10 years, is what we anticipate. Now, our average has been 5 years, and the returns have been very good year over year. But we want to set the expectation that this is a set it and forget it. While our other investments are doing what they're doing, this one's maturing on its own. And real estate's interesting because it follows its own unique set of disciplines independent of the paper market. It's a hedge against market volatility. It's a hedge against inflation. And if we look at real estate all across our country over the last 5, 10 years, what has it done? Poof, it's gone up through the roof. Where we've had the highest inflation we've seen in many, many years, from 2020 to 2024, 2025. Hopefully that's going to stay under control. But what did real estate do? It went up in value. And then what happens? We cash in on the investment. The developers, we have very good relationships with the developers that are out here. Over the years, we've developed this. We've been doing this for a long time. In 2018, I was asked to be on the General Plan Advisory Committee for the city of Palmdale. So I got to meet people that are important decision makers, city engineers, planners, the mayor. And I'm having lunch or excuse me, breakfast with the mayor one day. And I'm like, Mayor, you know what we do? Can you tell me where we should be buying? Because you know, obviously. And he's like, I can't tell you that. And I'm like, okay, I know. I figured I'd give it a shot. And he's like, but if I'm you, and he's pointing over his shoulder. And I said, the airport location. And he just was chewing his food. And he's like, without telling me, but telling me. So what did we do? We bought so much property around the airport expansion and build out. 2 weeks ago, we got an offer from a developer for 13 of our properties that are affecting over 120 clients. It's incredible. Our office has been making those calls. And guess what? Many of those people are HGI agents that purchase with us and their clients, and they're extremely thrilled. So these relationships that we've put together with these developers are awesome. We can reach out to them. They contact us directly, and we work these deals and help facilitate that process to sell the property at the end of the timeline for the client. And the goal is shortest period of time, most amount of money, so they can repeat the process and share with all their family and friends and everybody else and repeat the business. It's really great. Okay, so let's take a look at, this is what how land banking works in a sense. Okay, 2017 on the left side, Amazon Fulfillment Center. So Amazon put this fulfillment center there. And then look at it in 2026. When you have a fulfillment center that pops up, you have multiple other businesses and buildings all around that need to support what's taking place. Well, the same thing is happening right in the Antelope Valley, and we'll touch on that in just a moment. This is a couple of images from the Antelope Valley, very close to where our property is. And the growth is abundant. It's nonstop. The freeway that runs out there, the 14 freeway, is under construction, and it has been for the last year and a half. Every on and off ramp is going through beautification, desert landscaping, widening of the freeways. Guys, they only do that when they're directing population. They can, counties, cities, states, when they start opening up infrastructure and widening freeways and directing people to one place, it just organically happens. And when you've got that combined with several other factors, it makes a lot of sense. Today's presentation is condensed. We have a client presentation that's a little bit longer that goes over more facts and evidence and information to support what we're doing and risk mitigate our process out here and our products. So I'm going to encourage you at the end of the presentation, I'll have a QR code on the screen. Open it up, schedule a call with me. Let's go through it. The way I'm sharing right now is exactly how I will share with your family and friends, your clients, with a little bit different flavor or feel to the presentation. But it's happening right before our eyes. It's truly amazing. And this is where we do it, Northern Los Angeles County. So this is LA County, but this is the last available area to build in LA County to support the masses and the growth. Half of our population, of California's population, is all right down here, the LA basin. 18 million people. If you've ever been to this area, you know what I'm talking about when I mention traffic. It's all day, every day, nonstop. The freeway that's closest to me has 8 lanes on each side. It's incredible. It's because it's necessary, but we're busting out at the seams. And here's the problem. We can't sprawl into the ocean, and we can't sprawl into this mountain range. This is all mountainous. It doesn't make sense to build out for the masses into this mountain range, right? So the state spent $380 million widening this freeway interchange. This is the 5. It goes Mexico to Canada. The 14 was 2 lanes in each direction for 30, 40 years. Now it's 5 lanes on both sides of this freeway with a carpool lane because you have so many commuting from here to the LA Basin, but you also have a ton commuting from the LA Basin out to the Antelope Valley because of massive job creation. So it's really great, and we're really thrilled about it. But you can see that they're directing the traffic. Widening this artery allows people to flow easily into this area that drops into level usable land, abundant water supply, accessibility by planes, trains, automobiles, adequate utilities in place for massive growth and expansion, ample education facilities, preschool to college level, and the list goes on. It's truly amazing what's taking place, but it's the last spot that we can do it. So it's risk mitigated. Now, down here is the #1 container port in the US. It's called the Port of Long Beach, the Port of Los Angeles. It's called the San Pedro Bay. It's the #1 container port. It's direct shipping lanes across the Pacific from Asia, imports, exports. It's going nowhere. So what happens is the goods come into the port, they get on truck and trailer or freight train that already exists, and they go out to the Antelope Valley because you have massive distribution centers, which I'll touch on in just a moment. Distribution centers are important. They're job creators. They drive population, which drives land values up. So owning the dirt out here before it's built out is the idea. For land banking to work, find out where people are going, get there first, buy land and wait. This is what the wealthy have been doing for decades upon decades. They know where growth is happening. They're in with the in crowd. They know mayors and governors and builders and developers, and they go buy dirt in the surrounding area. If we know of a Home Depot or a new Walmart or whatever it might be is going to be built, it makes sense to own the dirt around it. So we ride the coattails of a lot of these big companies, which is fantastic. Okay, so some of the housing projects that are going on out here. You'll remember the fires that took place in LA. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go back a page real quick because this is important. The normal jet stream comes from the west, shoots across the United States to the east, and eventually gets to where you guys are throughout the country. When we have a fire event, it's called the Santa Ana winds. You'll hear the Santa Ana winds the next time California has a fire event. Well, what happens is the wind reverses course. It goes offshore. So it brings hot, dry, or cool, dry air out from the desert across this range out into the ocean, 50, 60, 100 mile an hour wind gusts. So the fires stayed down here in Altadena and Pasadena and over here in Pacific Palisades. They did not come up and over because the wind's blowing in this direction. That's really important to know. So what happened is how many dwellings were destroyed? I mean, you hear reports of 10,000, 12,000 homes, businesses, distribution centers, industrial buildings, all burned down. So when you've got this happening, this is directly from Lancaster's website, 9,023 housing projects Palmdale, 10,198, guys, nearly 20,000 homes in progress out here. That's compelling. And you know what? These homes go from 350 to 500 grand. Compared to the LA basin that's already built out that I showed you on the previous slide, well, the median housing price there is 1.1 to 1.3 million dollars on any given day, and it's totally out of reach for so many people. So people can move here with these brand new homes, and maybe both husband and wife don't have to work outside the house, right? Maybe we can get back to some of those traditional values of staying home and raising. Well, it's happening, and it's happening right here. Now, distribution. Trader Joe's, they opened up their first grocery store in Palmdale almost 2 years ago. And then they took it a step further and built a 1 million square foot packing and distribution facility, creating up to 1,000 jobs. This is just one distribution center. Remember the Port of Long Beach, the Port of Los Angeles, the goods come in there, get on truck and trailer, and come out to distribution centers like Rite Aid, Michaels, Pepsi, Coke, Frito-Lay, Morton Manufacturing, Fastenal, Lance Campers. Amazon has a massive facility out here, and Amazon's doing something else, which I'll touch on the next slide. But this is an update of the Trader Joe's. It's all fully operational right now. Truly amazing. The property that we're offering is very close to this. It makes so much sense to own around other development. And when you've got something like this that popped up, it's quite compelling. It means that building is moving quite rapidly out here. So Amazon built a distribution center in Palmdale, but they're building 4 more, part of a 38 million square foot industrial development project. This is from the California.gov site, notice of determination, 68 acres of distribution facilities being built for Amazon. Do they know something we don't? Well, yeah, they do. They're very smart. They have the money. If they're building this, it means that it makes sense. Now, again, what does this do? It creates jobs. Jobs, critically important. It's like that Field of Dreams movie with Kevin Costner. If you build it, they will come. That's exactly what's taking place out here, guys, right now. That combined with, well, this is an example. I'm going to share with you a 10-year capital improvement plan, but this is an example. I wanted to put this together for this call. Pre-developed land, Lancaster and Palmdale versus 401k and stock market performance. And these are average stock market and 401k performances. But we looked at a 5-year growth, 100,000 lump sum. Land year over year has been performing at 11.59% year over year growth. Did very well, 173,000 compared to 161 and 140. Real estate always has value when it's done right place, right time. And then when we're protected with our grant deed, with title insurance on fee simple land, it makes our investment safe, simple, and secure. This is the 10-year capital improvement plan. This is so compelling. 2018 to 2028. $1.154 billion is going into the city. This is truly amazing. This only happens when a city is going through a transformation stage. And we want to own in the transformation stage. Once it's totally transformed, it's too late. The cost is too high. The barrier of entry is way too high. It doesn't make sense for a land banking opportunity. But check this out. From fiscal year 2022 to 2028, $700 million going into the city. That's a lot of money. And a lot of that is for a complete streets project that they're doing throughout the city. It's truly amazing, and we're super thrilled. So our property is in a very good position with street frontage, and the street frontage is a part of this $700 million complete streets project. So let's take a look at it. 10th Street West and Avenue N. This is one of the best properties that I think that we have ever presented. And if we would have known that another development was going to pop up before we acquired it and started marketing it, we probably could have sold this for a lot more money, and I think you're going to be quite impressed. Okay, so our property's here in yellow, this rectangle. That's the Trader Joe's distribution center. Very close to us. This affects the value all around. It's truly amazing. 17 buildings, 9 million square feet, Antelope Valley Commerce Center, fully approved, ready for build. The final was given December 13th of 2025. So this is online or coming online, truly amazing. 15 unit light industrial warehouse and office space building right here. 90,000 square foot manufacturing facility, 932,000 square foot business park with residential. It's a mixed use. But look at this, 43 acres being built right next to us. This is huge. This is a distribution center. Remember the distribution center I showed a few slides back of that Amazon in 2017 and that Amazon today? You can see it's already happening right before our eyes because of this. Because this was built, all of these other things are starting to happen, and there's more coming. So is this a good opportunity to own next to a 43 acre parcel build out and development? 1,000% it is. And then here's another little one right here, 5 acres. So we're in a fantastic position. The zoning is appropriate, and I'm so thrilled about this property. Okay, so here's a parcel map. This right here is that 43 acre property, okay, that just came online. So we are very close to it. Does it affect our value? 1,000% it does. And you'll notice this is the parcel map, and there's a lot of subdividing that has taken place. Subdividing is costly, it's time consuming, it's done when there's specific intent and purpose for an area. So owning in the middle of the plan makes a lot of sense for our clients and our customers that have purchased into this. You'll notice 5 acres gross, 5 acres gross, and then it drops down to 4.7 acres net. Why? Easement for curb and gutter for the Complete Streets project, widening this. And when you have a 43 acre development that's taking place, they take part in the expansion of the road, beautification, and all of that stuff. So we're in an excellent spot, guys, and this property is priced very, very well. The average sold price per acre where we are is $110,353. We're selling this for $78,500. It's a fantastic equity position right out of the gates for somebody. So imagine having the ability, I've got $100,000 in a 401k and I purchase real estate with it, and my 401k jumps by 30% overnight in the form of equity, right? Because we own something tangible inside of our retirement plan. That's a great position to be in to share with our clients and customers. Now, the property's in Palmdale, Los Angeles County. The zoning is light industrial, assembly, fabrication, packaging, transport, warehousing, logistics, refrigeration, all of these things that complement what's taking place in this industrial growth and build out. It's truly amazing. 5 acres down to 4.7, price per gross, price per net, with a total price of $368,950. Now, I currently have $192,450 left on this property to sell. And remember, somebody can buy with $50,000 or more in cash or qualified. And if I buy into this property, I have $192,000 left as mentioned. If I buy into this property with $50,000, I'm still going to receive my own individual grant deed based on my percentage of ownership. I'm going to have an undivided interest in the property. My grant deed might say 25% undivided interest. So when this property sells for whatever the magic number might be, I get 25% of that profit, right? Again, it's a way to own real estate without having to deal with all the other challenges in owning real estate. I don't have to be a seasoned landlord and have piles of extra cash in case something goes wrong. I can just reallocate a portion of my retirement plan to add an additional piece of the pie into it by acquiring something that I can see, feel, and touch. So in recap, you can see industrial projects. This is directly from Palmdale's website, 13 million of industrial space. Lancaster has 38 million that they're building out right now with those additional 4 buildings, 4 Amazon distribution buildings. It's truly amazing. So you can see that the growth is abundant. This is a great opportunity. I would love to be on a call with your clients, and we can go through it. But let's talk about one last thing before we conclude. Conversation starters. How do we present this? What do we do? Who do we talk to? Well, we talk to everybody because everybody needs to see this. Regardless if people move forward or not, it's our job, our obligation, duty, responsibility to share with people the things that we are introduced to, right? That's our obligation. So this is an option for people to take a look at. It doesn't mean that they're going to move forward, but unless we share with them, they're never going to know. So back in '08, I didn't know I was going to do this. So I reached out to somebody and I said, listen, will you watch a presentation? I wasn't doing presentations. Will you watch a presentation and give me your honest opinion? I'm thinking about doing this for a living. I came from the mortgage industry and we all know what happened to that. And so I was pivoting. I made a move. And but before I made the move, I had this individual watch it and he calls me after the call and said, hey, you know what? Can I do this? And I said, I think, I don't know. Like I'm totally elementary at this. I had no idea what I was doing. And he goes, I have an old 403B. He was a teacher. And I said, okay, yeah, let's do that. So he ended up moving forward. And then I took the approach with my book of business and my family and friends, because at that point I decided, you know what, if he says this is good and he's doing it, I trust him unequivocally. I think that this is a good move. So I went to my family and friends in my hot and warm market and I said, listen, I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. And then I couldn't sleep at night because I feel like I was lying to people after I already made the decision. But then I rationalized it, and my life coach says never use the word rationalize because it says lie right in the middle. But I came from the perspective of if I don't show them this, they're never going to see it. So how do I get this in front of them? Would you be willing to take a look at this? I don't know this. I ended up writing 1.1 million in business in 4 months, in the first 4 months. And I'm like, wow. And not everybody did move forward, but the bulk did because they were looking for a different opportunity. We were going through right in 2008 when stock market was plummeting. So we were able to put a stopgap in place, liquidate your funds, keep them in your qualified account, but now just buy real estate with it. It's a hedge against inflation, hedge against market volatility. Real estate's done very well when it's done right place, right time. And it proved to be very fruitful for them. So that would be my encouragement to you. I don't want you to lie, but let's get in front of some people. Let's share with them this opportunity. And if they want to move forward, fantastic. And if they don't, we all did our job by presenting. Okay, so conversation starters, future focus. When you picture your retirement, how much of it is tied to real assets like real estate versus paper assets like stocks and bonds? This gets thinking, oh, well, I have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, and other things. But real estate, no, I don't. Or I have my home. When I retire, I'm going to sell it, downsize. Why are we forced to do that? We shouldn't be forced to do that, right? So this is a good option. Here's another one. I'm always fascinated by how people diversify. How much equity do you have in real estate in your retirement plan? I don't have any. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, we have a very good real estate product. I'd love to share it with you today or tomorrow, which alternative choices. Like we can have so much fun with all of this stuff. Benchmark angle. Most retirement portfolios I see are heavily weighted in paper assets. How much real estate exposure have you built into yours? I haven't. I didn't know I could. Well, yeah. Again, under IRS code 408, we can buy real estate with our qualified retirement funds and keep it qualified with the same tax deferred benefits and savings. We're going to do a Zoom today or tomorrow, which, right? And then we just fill out the schedule call form and we do a call. It's super simple. Who have ever worked with me or done calls with me, if you have that, you're on this call, it's super simple and very easy. We handle everything from soup to nuts. And guess what, guys? This is a non-licensed product. You don't have to be licensed to do this. So as you're recruiting and building your teams, your new agents that are coming aboard can make money in as little as 2 to 3 weeks, start to finish, right out of the gates. What a great feeling. You're helping your agents, you're helping your clients, you're helping yourself, and everybody wins. So, guys, that's going to conclude what I wanted to share with you today. This QR code will take you to schedule a call with me. Let's do it. Let's get on a call. Even if you don't have a client or anybody right now, and you want to see the entire presentation and see more of the facts of what's taking place out here, I would encourage you to do so. And I look forward to speaking with you, to meeting with you, and helping you grow your business. Thank you so much for your time. And Kimberly, back to you. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much, Brian. I love the presentation. Obviously, I love the product. I think you're fantastic, and I know that you're all going to be in good hands when you call him. So, like he said, just pick up the phone, call him, schedule an appointment, and ask your questions. We have time for one, literally one question before we sign off on the day. Does anybody have any burning questions they want to ask with everyone on the call, or do you want to just call Brian directly? Anybody, anybody, anybody? They were really shy earlier, Brian, when we first got on, so they wouldn't even talk to me. I don't know.
I
It's,
saw that.
yeah,
That's all right.
it's like they're scared.
Stage
Okay.
fright.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, Brian, for joining us today. You guys take advantage of it. You know, we're here teaching and giving you options, giving you choices. So um, reach out and ask your questions. Caesar, do you have a question or no? I just see your face.
No, I just wanted to thank Brian. Good to see you, man.
You too. You too.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Kimberly.
much for jumping on.
All right, guys. Thanks, Brian. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
guys. Bye
Bye.
bye.